Jhony Brito versus Luis Castillo went completely different than we thought.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. The championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same for your vehicle. For parts that fit, check out eBay Guaranteed Fit at ebaymotors.com. Available to U.S. customers on eligible items only, and exclusions apply. With me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, what's going on?
Hey, a surprising win last night. Of course, we're going to talk about that in just a second, Stace. We have a preview of the finale. 3-game set wraps up tonight in the Bronx against Seattle. We'll get your pitching matchups and everything you need to know about this brand new kid that you've probably never heard of. Of course, we also need to talk about Giancarlo Stanton. Man, it has been a lull. He did not play last night, and we're going to try and figure out what in the world the future of Giancarlo Stanton in New York looks like, if we can even muster that into the conversation. But first, Stacey, Yankees got a little homer happy last night for the first time in a while. Jake Bauers, Billy McKinney, and Anthony Volpe going deep.
Yeah, because just like everyone expected, for June 21st, 2023, Billy McKinney and Jake Bauers leading the Yankees offensively to a win. I mean, Volpe was more like an insurance run, but those two, 3 runs off Castillo via the home run. I mean, amazing.
Yeah, very surprising there. Nice to see Bauers going deep. The McKinney 2-run shot, obviously nice. And then Volpe needed that. He needs everything he can get at the plate right now. That was his 10th long ball of the season. I wanted to ask you, though, Stacey, and we're going to talk about Jhony Brito here in just a second, but I know that this roster construction is less than ideal for a lot of Yankees fans, to say the least. But in your eyes, are the Yankees too reliant on the home run ball? And can we kind of go into that whole conversation on, if I don't know if we want to sound like 1,000 years old, like they're hitting too many homers, but like it is, how do you see that? Because we've never really had that conversation before. So I'm curious what you think about that.
Yeah, no, I feel like they're too reliant on the home run. I would like to see an inning or two, or 3 a week of them stringing together a bunch of hits to score runs, a single, a double, or something, and not just relying on the home run ball. I mean, sure. What was it? Chicks dig the long ball, and, they do. But they've been like this for a while because that's the way the roster is constructed. And, of course, the guys you think are going to hit home runs, like the Stantons, the Rizzos, Glaber's been hitting them lately. They're not, but the kids are. And you're getting offense from these unexpected guys doing it the same way that you expect the veterans to do it, if that makes sense. It's just weird how no matter who it is, it's the same thing happening. Like it's just really strange. Like someone can come into the team like Billy McKinney, and for the most part, he's hitting home runs and doubles. And it's just so strange that I don't know how that's happening. But yeah, no, they're definitely too reliant on the home run. And that's why they get into trouble when they get into the playoffs, because you're facing better pitchers and you can't just keep hitting home runs. You have to string together singles and doubles and stuff like that.
Clearly home runs, from your vantage point, work during the regular season. It gets you to the postseason. I mean, look at the track record, right? Yeah. It has worked. You mentioned that the Yankees have been reliant upon this for years, and they've made the playoffs for years. So do you think it is a flawed mentality from the Yankees front office to build a roster this way?
Yes. There are a few flaws. The too reliant on the home run, too reliant on right-handed batters, also not getting enough lefties in the lineup, because isn't it nice to see guys on the left side hitting home runs? I think it is. It's great. There are a few flaws in the construction of this roster, but yeah, the reliance on hitting home runs is just, it always comes back to bite them, and they never learn. It's just really strange how this team is run in the past, I would say 5 years. It's just, I don't know what's going on there.
Let us know in the comments section how you feel about not just roster construction. I want this to be a deeper conversation. I know how you guys feel about no depth and trade this guy and send this guy down and sell this guy. I know. We all read it. We're reading your comments every day. We know what you're saying. Yeah. Tell me intelligently, how do you feel about the home run reliance for the Yankees, and that is a strategy moving forward, because clearly it's a strategy for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Maybe not part of the strategy last night was Jhony Brito nearly going 6 innings of shutout baseball with 2 hits, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Stacy, the return of the Jhony Brito line. Here it is again, 5 2/3, 2 hits, no runs, a walk, and 3 Ks. Wow. I mean, considering how bad he had looked since getting shipped down over the last month, it's shocking that he was able to do that last night.
Yeah, and we mentioned it on yesterday's show. We thought coming in, it could go either way. We thought, okay, you know, gave up 6 in the last 2 appearances each, and you're thinking, well, that can't be good. But then there's also the chance that he might just come in and pitch fine, and he did more than fine. That was tremendous. 81 pitches, 51 strikes. He threw his sinker the most out of all of them, and his 4-seam, he only pitched like 10 of them. So it was mostly sinker, curve, and I can't remember the pitch in the middle because I was looking at Baseball Savant. But it was interesting, and he hit 97.9 on that sinker, which how do guys hit those things? How do they even make contact with them? It's unbelievable.
Well, they don't.
Yeah. Or they don't make good contact, you know? It's like, wow, it's impressive. It's impressive that he came up and did what he did, you know? Like I joked yesterday, just give us 5. And he gave us 5 2/3. So good for him.
You think it was too early to pull him? Would you let him go one more batter?
No, I actually was kind of I was in agreement with Randy Wilkins, who directed the Captain documentary, because we tweet back and forth, and we both thought that actually we felt like Boone should have taken him out after 5, and we were kind of surprised that Boone didn't do that. And then when he got the first 2 outs, I thought, well, I'm an idiot. And then he had to, yes, the walk. And I thought, okay, that's a good outing for him. Like, he gets the ovation. Nice job by him. So it's just kind of funny that we were both like, yeah, I think he should take him out. And then he didn't, and it worked out fine. So
I would have given him one more batter.
Yeah.
For the record.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't matter, but it did have a butterfly effect there because every reliever after that ended up coming in mid-inning.
Yes.
Right. Jimmy Cordero came in, got that out. Then he ended up getting relieved by King. He ended up getting relieved by Canely. King lost it there in the 9th. How were you feeling about the decisions from Boone either? Just overall in the pen? They
were okay. I agreed with him taking out King at that point, because that pitch that he threw to Hernandez, you know, he hit that pretty hard fly ball, but that pitch was terrible. It was right down the middle, and that could have gone really badly. So I actually agree with Boone's moves tonight. I'm not going to get mad at anything.
Little kindness goes a long way. How about that? Canely in a big spot there, by the way, getting a very high leverage situation. Very interesting to see there. Not all good news from last night's game. Of course, Willie Calhoun running down to first base very clearly did something. This is what he had to say after the game.
Did you feel running up the line in the 8th? Just on the last few steps, my quad kind of just, you know, grabbed, and kind of felt the same thing that I felt a few years ago when I did the same injury. So it was just my quad, and just the last few steps, it just it kind of like grabbed and pulled on me.
Will you be going for tests?
I believe so. I believe I have an MRI tomorrow or the next day. I'm not quite sure.
Which quad was it?
My left leg.
Stacey, your thoughts on this? Of course, Willie Calhoun has been a mainstay in the lineup, especially with all the injuries, especially with Judge out, and looks like he is anticipating an IL stint.
I joked about having a sign behind me saying how many days since the last Yankees injury, and it had been a few. And here we go again. I felt bad because I could see it in those last couple of steps, and I thought, oh, he did something. I didn't know if it was hammy or quad, so it was good to hear him say that, because I wasn't sure what part of the leg it was. But when it rains, it pours with the Yankees and their injuries. It's unbelievable. But they have guys who can play in the outfield if they need to bring someone back.
Just give me one word when I ask you this question, because these are the two options: Franchi or Oswaldo.
I thought Franchi was hurt. Wasn't he on the 7-day?
Not to my knowledge.
I think I saw that. I think Franchi's hurt, but we'll double check that. I guess Oswaldo.
All right.
Yeah.
There's your answer. Let us know who you would pick. Again, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I wasn't aware of that. We'll see. We'll double check on that.
Yeah, double check
Hey,
on that because I thought I saw that tweet earlier.
Okay, I must have missed that. Hey, I'm keeping my eye on like 7 different teams here. Hey, this is your last chance, by the way, for you watching at home or at work or wherever you are. This is your last chance to get your questions in for Fan Mail Friday, which is tomorrow. Fan Mail Friday. Every Friday, we answer your questions. All you got to do is reply to the pinned tweet here on this YouTube video. Of course, if you want to get your Disney skip the card line, you can do so by joining our subtext. Join our subtext. You get Fan Mail Friday priority. All you got to do is text us. You get roster moves and explanations the second they happen. You get in-game info. You get one-on-one conversations with us. And there's a 14-day free trial. Find out more information in the episode description. Of course, we teased a little earlier. We need to talk about Giancarlo Stanton and his future with the Yankees when we come back. This episode is brought to you by one of our new favorite sponsors, Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs is the best place to buy men's shorts and pants that come with a built-in liner. This past weekend, Father's Day weekend, I actually wore Bird Dogs all weekend long. I went on a hike. I was hanging out in them. It was nice and sunny here in California, and I loved it. They're awesome. I look better and I feel great while wearing my Bird Dogs. They're super comfortable. They're versatile, and they're actually cheaper than a bunch of other reputable brands. And of course, Locked On Yankees listeners, you guys got the chance to get some free stuff when you place an order at birddogs.com. And I promise they have a ton of different styles. So no matter what look you're going for, they're going to have the right one for you. You can go to birddogs.com/lockedonmlb, and they're going to throw in a free Yeti style tumbler with every purchase. So again, that's birddogs.com/lockedonmlb and use the promo code LockedOnMLB. Back now on Locked On Yankees. Hey, to the everydayers out there, don't forget, coming up tomorrow, it's Fan Mail Friday, as you guys always know. And if you're going to stick around longer than that, which you should, Miners Monday, right around the corner, that's coming up next week. Don't forget, the series finale against Seattle is tonight. They wrap up the 3-game set. You can catch all the action on Sirius XM. We're going to preview that game a little bit later. But Stacey, we need to have maybe a deep conversation here about Carlos Stanton. This season, obviously marred by injuries, month. But this is statistically one of the worst, if not the worst, season of his career.
Yeah.
He has 3 hits in his last 11 games. In 13 games in June, he's slashing 111, 216, 267. I'm not going to put all this stock into 13 games. I understand that. But I think this is kind of indicative of a trend that has continued to spiral for Giancarlo Stanton. What are your thoughts on Giancarlo Stanton at this point in the season?
Did they bring him back too early? Because I feel like they're giving him a lot of days off when they already have days off built into the schedule, which is kind of raising red flags for me at this point, because they're not putting him in the outfield. They're having him as the DH. So if that's too much for him, then why is he even back? It just feels strange. Does it to you as well? Because I
hadn't even considered that. But yeah, I mean, he sat last night. I don't know if that was rest or, dude, you can't hit the side of a barn right now.
And there are so many guys who can't hit the side of a barn right now. And one's already sitting down, and DJ sitting down extra days. So I don't know if he's working on something like DJ is, and maybe they're giving him an extra day. But, you know, the number that jumps out at me, I mean, it's one thing for his batting average to be down in 13 games and 3 hits in the last 11. Okay. But the slugging is 267. Like, he's not even hitting, like, in those 3 hits, he's not hitting the ball hard. Yeah. It's like,
that was a 1 home run against the Mets.
You know, the ground outs and the double plays and just not hitting the ball well at all. Like, not even hitting it solidly, really. Like, just, it's, you know, bashing them into the ground. It's not great watching that. So I don't know. Maybe they brought him back too soon. It's possible.
Where do you think he fits on this club? Just like, even if trying to take the recency bias out of the equation here, where does Giancarlo Stanton fit on the 2023 Yankees?
I mean, ideally, he would be the perfect DH, right? I mean, I feel like he hits better when he plays in the field, though, but He's just such a presence in the lineup, even when he's not hitting, because it's just he's so intimidating by his size. And I feel like he just needs to, like 2 or 3 hits to get going, or even like 2 or 3 deep fly balls. And then you'll know that he's at least lifting the ball and he's almost there. And if we see that start to happen, he might be closer. But I feel like, I mean, he's got to play. And I would think DH just to be safe so he doesn't hurt himself again.
Yeah, I mean, you would like to have him in the field.
Yeah.
He's not a great arm. Like, there's other parts to his game that he brings. It's just, the liability of the injury concern.
Yeah.
For the future stays after this season, he's still got 4 more guaranteed years with New York. And then he has a club option for 2028, which, of course, at this rate, that would not be exercised.
No.
So he's not a free agent until 2029 at the latest, 2028 at the earliest. So when you read those options, or you read those, you hear me say them, what is that? Does that make your heart race, or you just go, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's going to be one of those instances where they're going to find a way to make it so he's not still, I don't know. Like, is there a way for them to have him not around those last 2 years? Because those last 2 years are going to be, I mean, it's already getting ugly, but I can't even imagine what maybe 25, 26, and 27 are going to be like on that contract. Because people always joke about how you pay for the first half of a contract and you don't really pay attention to the second half of it. But it's scary thinking about the last few years of this deal, if this is how it's going in 2023, and we still have until 2028 to sit through this. And I feel bad because he's good, you know?
That's what I was going to say. Let's make sure we also say that, because I'm a Giancarlo Stanton fan. Like, I want him to succeed. I think he's one of the most dynamic and interesting and exciting players in all of baseball when he's going right. And I think that's probably the biggest bummer of all of this is just like, man, we just don't get to watch Giancarlo Stanton be Giancarlo Stanton. And that sucks. It really sucks.
It really does. I mean, just think of that game last season. They're down 8-4 to the Pirates in the bottom of the 9th. Judge gets his 60th home run, and you're thinking, cool, Judge got 60 out of the way. And then the Yankees get the bases loaded, and he comes up, and he hits that bullet out to left field. And it was just like, holy cow. Like, that's the Giancarlo Stanton that you want to see. The one that hit that grand slam against Boston in 2021, like the week before the wild card game. Let's not remember the wild card game. But he also hit a ball hard there, and it just died right before it went out. And you know, all the home runs he hit against the Guardians in the division series in 2020. And just, I mean, he's had some good moments with the Yankees, and it's just such a bummer that his health just, and it's always like a leg thing. Like, if you go to Fox Sports, you can look up a player's injury history, and it usually only goes back about 5 years, but it's quad, calf, like it's all the same stuff in the last 5 years. And it's just such a bummer.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, give me Stanton out of Dodger Stadium. Give me body issues Stanton. Like, that's the Stanton I want to see every night. And to be fair, like, probably the Stanton he wants to be, right? Like, this isn't just frustrating for Yankees fans. It's got to be so frustrating for him, because he works so hard in the off season, and then he just is like this. And it's, again, I think the word that just keeps coming to front of mind is just frustrating. And again, I think as frustrated as Yankees fans can be, and boy, can they get frustrated. Think of Giancarlo. Think of how frustrating it is for him to not be able to get going. That's the other thing. It feels like Yankee fans blame him and think that he's not trying to play. Like, it's just weird. Like, there's a subset of Yankee fans who think that he's like dogging it and not trying and this and that. And I don't agree with that at all. And it's just that part of it's annoying, because it's not like he's purposely hurting himself, people. It's just, it's happening. And when he's good, he's so good. And it's just, get healthy. I mean, if they can, it's just, there's so many other injuries. It's hard for him to also sit out with Judge, because losing those two guys, it's just, the timing is just awful. It's awful for them to have injuries at the same time, because to have them both come back at the same time and be healthy, like if they could be healthy in the second half and kind of help the Yankees go on a push, and if Rodon comes back, I mean, that could be huge. So let's all cross our fingers that could happen, that maybe he'll get healthy eventually,
and contribute in his Giancarlo Stanton way.
Fingers crossed. Hey, drop your questions for Fan Mail Friday in the comment section. Again, all you got to do is go to that pinned tweet here on YouTube and respond. Maybe you got a Stanton question, and maybe we can help you answer that. If you want to skip the line and be priority on Fan Mail Friday, of course, you can do that by signing up for our subtext. You get, again, Fan Mail Friday priority. You get roster moves. You get in-game info. You get one-on-one text conversations with Stacy and myself. I'm checking those texts every day. I wake up, I look, I go, hey, what's up? Insert name here, and we're texting in. Thank you guys for already signing up, by the way. It's been fun for the first couple of days here. Really appreciate it. Hey, coming up next, we got to talk about this final game in Seattle. Against Seattle. Let's get you some pitching previews. Series finale against Seattle tonight. Of course, if you can't watch the game, why not listen to it? Check it out on SiriusXM. They got free trials up the wazoo. Literally just Google SiriusXM free trial and you'll find one. Check out the game there. Stacy, pitching matchup for tonight's game. Bryan Woo versus Domingo Germán. Let's start with Bryan Woo, because Yankees fans don't know who Bryan Woo is unless you're totally glued in. He's only made 3 MLB starts. He skipped AAA this season. He got called up from AA Arkansas. He's pretty young. It's going to be his first start against the Yankees. His trajectory is very strange. He went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, which isn't too far away from where I am, about 3 hours away, which is north of me. And he was a 6th rounder that the Mariners kind of took a flyer on because Woo tore his UCL and needed Tommy John at the end of his Mustangs career in college. So very strange that they kind of were like, well, we'll throw caution to the wind. And it's kind of worked out, weirdly enough. He made his debut a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't great, but his last 2 outings have been very strong. He's coming off a 9 strikeout outing against Chicago, the White Sox. He had 12 swings and misses on his fastball of his 19 swings and misses overall. He's a big fastball pitcher, 4-seamer, 2-seamer that has a lot of horizontal movement, a slider, and a changeup that he occasionally goes to on the back end there for secondary offerings. So expect a lot of fastballs tonight, a lot of lateral movement from him. Very interesting to see a guy like this. And Stacey, like, how do you feel about the skipping AAA aspect? Because the Yankees don't do that, but a lot of teams are starting to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say that it feels like a lot of other teams are doing that, because we spoke about someone else from another team doing the same thing. And I think it was a pitcher and I can't remember who it was. And I thought that was really interesting because people always make such a big deal about how the Yankees don't do that. And the fact that they only but Volpe only played in 22 games?
Like 21 or 22, something like that.
Was shocking that they called him up after only 21 or 22 games, because the Yankees don't do that. And yeah, like you said, other teams do it all the time, but Yankees are like, nah.
Yeah. Nah. Domingo Germán gets the ball tonight. He's coming off a terrible start against the Sox. He was everywhere. He threw more balls than strikes. Like, he just could not find any of his pitches to work. He gave up a bunch of hard hits and he only went 2 innings. So, I mean, it can't get much worse than that one, right?
He was everywhere all at once. Is that what the movie was called? But
Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah.
Yeah, but not in a good way. Yeah, that was bad. Let's hope that he rebounds from that. I feel like a lot of the guys who have bad starts tend to rebound from them. The only one having a slight problem doing that, not disastrously, is Severino. But I feel like Germán can possibly get it together and be okay on Thursday. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel like I was about to ask you, like, what does Domingo Germán need to do to be better? It's just everything. Like, everything needs to be better. Like, you just need to throw strikes. Like, he's got to throw more strikes. All his pitches got to work better. Like, I think that outing was just a turn the page situation, right? Like, you just
just it was bad. Don't think about it. Just come out, do what you had been doing the previous, how many starts? 5 starts. He looked great. So yeah, it's that kind of thing. Just turn the page. Don't think about it.
Short-term memory on that one. We'll see. That's the pitching matchup tonight. Again, it's the finale against Seattle. Big weekend series, by the way. Texas Rangers, who, boy, what was it? Tuesday night, the Rangers versus White Sox. Yikes. If you don't know anything about that, go check out my YouTube channel. I did a whole video on that, which, by the way, I have a YouTube channel. If you didn't know that, it's linked in the episode description, as it always is. So, just click on down there, hit my subscribe button too. You can hit our subscribe button if you're new around here. We do Yankees coverage Monday through Friday. Of course, you can drop your questions for Fan Mail Friday. Last chance. This is our last call to get in for this week's episode. So make sure to reply to that pinned tweet down below. And of course, if you want Fan Mail Friday priority, as well as a bunch of other perks, you can sign up for our subtext and you can get those perks at no cost right now. Free 14-day trial. All the information is in the episode description, including a video that describes everything you need to know about subtext. Honestly, for the handful of people that have signed up already, I think we're having a lot of fun. We're talking about like Trenton Thunder games. I was texting with somebody today about Trenton Thunder games, so that was kind of cool. Anyway, that's on the episode description. That's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsulias. We'll see you tomorrow.